In this video, we're going to take a look at adding course structure. Now, what do I mean by course structure? Course structure as in the layout, the organization, and where things are really going to be. So when you get a blank course, you automatically always get this syllabus container. You don't have to keep it, but that is a default as part of a brand new course. So when you talk about creating structure, these containers are what are groupings of content. So it allows you to group them and then give them a nice name. So for instance, if this had all syllabus items in it, this would be a great name for this container. So let's create a new one and add a container. So to do that, I'm going to move my mouse over to this side. I'm going to wait till I get that four-headed arrow. And then I'm going to, using my mouse, left click, hold, and drag that new container in. Now you'll notice when you drag it in and drop it, it creates a new container. Let's do that again. So I'm going to left click, hold, and drag, and drop it in. So now I have a new container and a new container, so I haven't given those any names yet, but let's give it a name. So to name a container, again, creating that structure, I'm going to click on it once. Again, left click. Let's call this Module 1. Now let's do the same thing for this one. I don't have to do anything special to get out of this, but what I'm going to do is just click in the next one. We'll call this Module 2. And I can just click out here to get out of it. So as in getting out of the editing section of that. So that's how to create containers. What if I wanted to have a container within a container, or what we call nested containers? You can do that as well. So I'm again going to left click, hold, and drag my container, but this time I'm going to go inside and add another one. So the reason I would do this is if I wanted a module and then maybe objectives or outcomes within that module, I could add those. Maybe I have a second one. Drag that in there and then do Objective 2. Let's do the same thing below. So you notice I'm scrolling up and down, I'm dragging. So there's what will look like to you as, we call them drop points or drop zones. Let's look at how those work. So as I click, hold, and drag, you'll see how this, if this is there, I could drag it there and then put a new container in between those. Or I can simply drag it inside and drop it. Scroll back up, do it again, and drag it in. So now I have two. So we'll do again, Objective 1 and Objective 2. So now that I have my basic structure in place, I could begin to add learning objects. And keep in mind as you watch me do this that it's not that you must do it in the order that I'm showing you. This is just a way to kind of understand how it works. So if you said to yourself, you know, I just want to make objects first, that's okay too. You don't have to do it this way. I just like this way because it's more like outlining. I feel like this is an outlining method just like you would use if you were writing a paper or creating a presentation. You would outline the top level first and then start filling in the detail. So next I'm going to drop in my objects, and that's going to again be the lower level from that objective. It might just be each of the individual parts. So to do that, I'll again make sure I have that four-headed arrow, left click, hold, and drag. And in this one, same kind of thing. You just find that area where you want it to be and just drop it in. So I'm going to do two of those there. Let's do two here. And I want one up here at the top too. This can be tricky sometimes. Sometimes it does drop to the bottom. That's okay. When that happens, I usually just try again. Go a little bit higher. The other thing you can do too is get it a little higher here. It can be tricky. You got to wait for those drop zones, and sometimes if I'm being impatient, that's what happens because I didn't wait. So let's wait till we get our drop zone so I'm not being impatient. There we go. I just had to wait a little bit longer. There we go. So now we have that. Now it looks a little funky right now, but that's okay. We're going to save this. I'm going to refresh it and go back. And now it looks okay. Sometimes that happens when you move a lot of things around. Sometimes it just looks a little funny and you have to do a refresh. Now let's do the one below. Same kind of thing. I'm going to drag this over. So you can see how fast this is. It really goes very quickly in starting to create that structure. Now let's see if I can be more patient this time. There we go. I got my drop zone. I dropped it in. And I've now created some structure. So instead of giving these formal names, let's just look at giving the objects names. So let's say this is learning object. We'll call this module 1. So how did I name that? Did you notice how quickly that went? So to name an object, you're going to put your mouse on top of it. You'll notice how it turns gray. Do it on this one too. That means it's selected. Left click once and your mouse will be in there. Now it highlights all of it so you can change the entire name of that object, but you don't have to do that. You can actually just put your mouse there and then maybe hit the arrows on your keyboard, or you can click on it and then change the entire name. So let's change this to sub objective 2, and we'll do the same thing here. We'll do sub objective 1. It's not a real word, but it gives us the right idea. And we'll do the same thing here. Now I did that on purpose because I wanted to show you how I have objects that have an identical name here. That is okay, you can do that. And I have here, I've got the same thing. That's okay because these objects are operating independently. So this is not like file names where it might say you can't have the same file name within a folder. It's not really like that. These are independent pieces that are part of this layout of the course. Now let's do the same thing. Let's say I want to save myself some time this time. And this time I'm going to change my mind about something. I'm going to copy this. This time I want to just paste it in. That might save me some time. So I can give those names. So as we're going through this, I'm really just showing you a few different little tricks and methods that might actually save you some time later on. We will look at more as we go along. And paste. So I now have a basic layout. I have a basic structure for my course. There's no detail, there's no content. I've not even used any special features. All I've done is drag in containers and learning objects to create a basic structure. And always save. And now you've seen how to create a basic structure within a new course.